We're almost through the All the Leaves series, and this one is called Leafy Leaves. Leviticus 23 says, "So beginning with the 15th day of the 7th month, after you've gathered all your crops, celebrate the festival to the Lord for 7 days. The first day is a Sabbath rest, and the 8th day is a Sabbath rest. But on the first day you're to take branches from luxuriant trees like palms and willows and other leafy trees and rejoice for 7 days." Look at the imagery here in these verses when we are told to take branches from luxuriant trees, palms, willows, and other leafy trees and rejoice. This was to be a festival, a lasting ordinance for generations to come, and they were to live in temporary shelters for 7 days to remind themselves of the shelters that God's people lived in when they exited slavery on the way to the Promised Land. So leafy trees. There's nothing prettier on a walk than to see tall trees blowing in the wind that look like they're waving when we go by. And here palms and willows are mentioned among the leafy leaves. In Psalm 92 it says, "A righteous man will flourish like a palm tree." And in the New Testament, when the people met Jesus, they waved palm branches and shouted as they greeted him in the street. There are engravings of palm trees mentioned in the buildings of structures in the Bible, and the leaves of palm trees are called fronds. Did you know that? They're dramatic in shape, size, and color, and Palm Sunday is still celebrated every year. And the leaves of the palm tree are shaped and look like the fingers of a hand, thus the name palm. Finally, palm trees are maybe the most recognizable tree around because of their unique stature and leaf. The second leafy tree mentioned is the willow, and these have long flowy leaves and they can withstand strong winds. A willow tree is a symbol of hope and stability, fertility and life, and they too are very easy to recognize. Their leaves are among the first to appear in spring after winter is over. So the people were told to gather leaves that were leafy and to rejoice when they waved them, and they needed to be from luxuriant trees. I looked up to see if there was a difference between luxurious and luxuriant, because I don't ever use the word luxuriant. There is. Luxurious describes rich, elegant, expensive things, and luxuriant describes rich, lush, abundant, growing things. Isn't that interesting? They were told to get leaves from something growing and rich, but not something expensive. In other words, the leaves were available all around them for the picking and the waving. And they were supposed to do this on the first day of the festival, the day of rest, and they were to be gathered from that which was growing on their land and waved in celebration in every generation. Leaves are a big deal in almost every home across the nation. We decorate with leaves at Christmas in our homes. Eucalyptus leaves are pretty as decor. People cut branches with leafy leaves to hang across mantles and window frames. Fall leaves and their colors are celebrated and adored. Leaves are a big deal. Rejoicing with a change of seasons is a big deal. So soon we'll all be decorating our homes for Christmas with evergreen leaves. Nothing smells better than a freshly cut tree, and nothing is prettier than adding greenery to our decor. It goes with everything. We know that eating leafy leaves to our diet, adding them to our diet, is good for health because they're packed with all things good. So what were the people told to do with these leafy leaves? They were to rejoice. They were to keep doing it generation after generation, and they were to remember. Remember when Jesus rode into the city on a donkey, and I said the people gathered the branches and waved them at him? The palm branches were symbols of triumph and victory. The people waved them at the humble Savior who entered the city on a donkey instead of riding in on a chariot, commanding people to bow. The people gathered the branches, rejoiced, and waved them because they recognized who Jesus was. They were looking for him to ride in and take the kingdom by force. Some of them were, and they missed him and didn't get to see who Jesus was. Did you also know that palm trees are self-cleaning? They shed and get rid of dead leaves. I also find that very cool and interesting. I love to close my eyes and imagine willow trees and palm trees aplenty with leaves available for waving and celebrating over and over again and rejoicing as we tell our children and their children of the way of God and how he's cared for us over the years. I love visualizing the humble Savior riding into an unsuspecting town of people with showy and fading leaves, but then noticing the lined streets with leafy leaves by the people who get it, those that love the Savior who has arrived to offer them hope and life. So they grabbed the palms and the willows and they waved them from luxuriant trees that were growing and flourishing. So now, as the holiday season is here, we are invited again to celebration, to trees with evergreens, with lights to string on branches, to cut and lay across our homes, and leafy greens to fill up our house with a great aroma. The celebration that we partake in every year to celebrate and give thanks for the baby that arrived in a stable where only those who realized his worth came to worship. So grab your leafy leaves and wave them hard, and rejoice because Jesus is here.